Mr. Speaker, I'm standing here as Senator Gloria Orwoba, giving my views as Senator Gloria Orwoba. I do not see any chains around me, Mr. Speaker, and let it be known to the public that what I speak here represents on my beliefs and my opinions. I do not speak for anybody. So, Mr. Speaker, as I was saying, a cult is a social movement. And that is what it is. A cult is a social movement. And we have so many people who are opening up all sorts of establishments in the guises of religious institutions. Not only churches, but also all sorts of things, including mosques and what they plan to, they call religious schools and things like that. We all know, particularly some of us who are Christians, we know what the church looks like. So, Mr. Speaker, today I want to say this. What we lack, and we are in this house, this is the upper house, where we have been sent as senators to legislate. And what we lack in this country, Mr. Speaker, is that there is no legal definition of a cult. Because, Mr. Speaker, if we had a legal definition of a cult, Mr. Speaker, then this would have been a very clear case of this is a cult, this is what it entails, and this is how we have to, deal with this matter, Mr. Speaker. We had the pronouncement of our leaders saying that this is a terrorist. I agree, Mr. Speaker. This is not a pastor. This is a terrorist. A terrorist who has actually gone out of their way to influence people to kill themselves, just as we have suicide bombers, Mr. Speaker. So when we are weighing in on this matter, I wanted to sensitize people that when we are talking of cults, Mr. Speaker, whether you want to put a blanket on them and call them religious institutions and try to tie them to the church, Mr. Speaker, it is obvious, it is in the public domain that any person who actually pushes other people to kill themselves or pushes other people to have extreme activities within a social movement is a cult, Mr. Speaker. I want to say that Article 32 of our Constitution actually states that every person has the right to freedom of religion, thought, belief, and opinion, Mr. Speaker. But every right also, you cannot stand up and say you have the freedom of belief and religion, yet actually what you're hiding behind is acts of terrorism, Mr. Speaker. And so therefore, when we are looking at this case, and for me, Mr. Speaker, I actually push that we have a commission of inquiry, because this is an act of terrorism. This is a situation where we have actually had a terrorist sitting in a county somewhere, recruiting people into terrorist activities, and therefore it must be dealt with as an act of terrorism, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it also states in our Constitution that the state shall take legislative policy and other measures, including setting standards to ensure that all rights are protected, Mr. Speaker. And so, on this particular matter, what the state should do and continue to do is ensure that the right to life is protected, Mr. Speaker.
Point
this
up,
is...
Senator Gloria, your time is up. Point up. Resume your seat, Senator. Resume your seat, Senator Gloria. Senator Hamida, you've got your 5 minutes running now.
She was doing definitions.